Honestly, your tools, techniques, I think are life changing. So, like, even this morning, I did a technique that you've taught, and every single morning I do it. It's become a habit now. And it's the reason why I feel like refreshed and happy and I feel better. Everything, man, everything changed when I started working with you.
As entrepreneurs, we tend to have pretty lonely lives. We tend to be projecting a certain persona out there, showing trust and confidence and responsibility, and we usually tend to be suffering in silence on the inside, and we're too afraid and we're too scared to share how we feel with the outside world for fear of being judged. That, boys and girls, is the big outline for today's interview. With that said, enjoy the interview.
It gives me great pleasure and great honor, quite frankly, to introduce you guys to my guest today, who's a businessman. He's been through medical school, he's a doctor, he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, and he's a coach as well. Without much ado, I introduce to you Dr. Wasi. Dr. Wasi, how have you been?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing very well, very well. Good to know that. Dr. Wasi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. And I want to let everyone know that I am from Houston, Texas, in the US. I was born in Texas and I've been in Houston, Texas pretty much my entire life. And like you said, I'm a physician turned life coach and business coach and entrepreneur as well. And also your student in your coaching program. And I'm super excited to be here.
Great. So to catch everybody up, to bring everybody up to speed, do you remember how you and I ended up connecting? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was. I really feel like it was fate. I feel like it was God bringing us together because I think we had joined a course that we were both in last year. And so on Facebook, we had connected through that somehow. And you found out about how I help people with launching their businesses. And so you reached out to me for help with that. So I started helping you as your business coach, but then I started to see what you help people with, which was amazing. And it was about the mindset and helping people overcome stress, anxiety, negative thoughts. And, it was extremely fascinating. And I was going through some things at that time, which we'll talk about today. And that's when I was thinking, wow, like I have the guy right in front of me. I don't need to go anywhere else. And so that's how we kind of connected. And it's crazy that, a platform like this, like Facebook or whatever platform you guys watch it on in the future, like we were able to connect online and able to find each other. And so I think it's one of those things where, you meet the people you're meant to meet, you meet the coaches who are meant to help you in your life, create massive transformation. When you have that desire for the help, when you have that desire to become better, they're going to come into your life. And I feel like that's how you came into my life. And it's been the best thing ever.
So I'm a coach and you're a coach and we're in coaching communities. You and I have access to lots of well-renowned names in the communities. So how and why did you essentially end up working with me?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So yeah, I am a coach and, in the coaching space in some of the communities, I know a lot of different coaches, especially that help with similar things that you help with. So just mindset and things like that. But, I started to see something different with you. It was that you weren't just teaching what a lot of other people were teaching, which I think is great. And it's great to take ideas from others, but you had your own unique, fresh perspective as well. Also, something that I started to see in you was that you had really done the work yourself. You were someone who practices what they preach. And for me as the man, it's really important if I'm going to invest in a coach, and I'm sure all of you watching or listening can relate. If you're going to work with someone, you're going to invest in working with someone, you want to make sure that the person, walks the walk, right? They don't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk. They practice what they preach. And so for me, I started seeing a guy who wasn't just saying ideas, wasn't just telling me or giving advice to people on how they should feel better or think better. He was literally living it. You were a living example when it came to mindset, when it came to health, when it came to just lifestyle, like truly living your life, making decisions in your life, choosing how to show up. You were a living, breathing example of what you were preaching. And that really appealed to me. And also because, you've done the work, you've put in 10 plus years into growing yourself and diving in and learning and studying and helping yourself get to where you are today. and now helping others, I knew that, okay, like I gotta work with this guy, right? The other thing was that yes, there are lots of coaches out there who you can work with, but I think it's important to find someone who you feel comfortable with. And so, just off the bat, when I started to engage with you and first see you, I felt like you were such a caring person. And I felt like you were so empathetic and you were super kind. And that's hard to find these days. Someone who can openly let you know that they care about you, that they're looking out for you. And I think, you make all the people that you come into touch with feel the same way. And so it was something that as a man, I was looking for a coach who could guide me as a man and who could help me as a man, but not just, when we think about a man, we think about someone who's just hardcore and really, forceful, but someone who can also empathize, someone who can also be kind, someone who also knows when to be softer. And I was looking for that combination, and I found that combination in you. And it was beautiful, it was brilliant, and I knew early on when I started to learn what you did that I had to work with you, and I'm so glad I did.
Right. So before you started working with me, before we started working together, what was the progress that you'd experienced? Where were you coming from? What had the journey been like that far?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, I'm grateful to God. I feel like I've been blessed with so many things, and I have this amazing life. And in general, all of us, all of you guys listening, watching, we have ups and downs in life, right? No one's life's perfect. But generally speaking, I felt like I was always a pretty positive person. I was a happy-go-lucky guy. And, in school, people would call me Mr. Optimistic. No matter what circumstances would come up, I would quickly get out of it, and I would still be pretty positive and happy. But this year, everything changed. This year, I went through some major changes, and I had some really challenging circumstances that came up into my life unexpectedly. And it, to be quite honest, it really shattered me. I'm gonna go pretty vulnerable and deep here for you guys. So I think more of us need to be vulnerable and open. And I just want to say that, there were certain circumstances that came up that I never thought I would have to face. And I'm sure some of you can relate, because sometimes we think everything's going fine in life, and then boom, something will come and just, knock us down. And, whether that's, a health issue that comes up, or a relationship issue, or a money issue, there's so many different things that we face and struggle. And so I was literally just shocked. I was shattered. I was, I felt debilitated for a while. I felt like even though I knew all these things as a coach, and I pride myself in being a good coach, I still felt like I couldn't help myself. I felt really lost. I felt scared. I felt alone. And I think that, so many of us, when we're going through something difficult, we feel like we have to go through it alone. And that's kind of where I was. I was scared to talk about what I was feeling. I was scared to talk about what I was going through. And it was really difficult, I was scared even to reach out for help. Even though I knew reaching out for help was the right thing to do, there were times I felt scared about it. And I think all of you can relate, because sometimes we don't want to share our problems with other people because we think it'll be embarrassing, and there's shame and there's guilt around it. And so I was experiencing all of those things, even though I knew I was a good person, even though I knew I didn't do anything wrong. It's just when certain circumstances come up, it can be very challenging. And I think that I was in a place where I was starting to feel like life was getting out of my control, where certain circumstances and things were kind of slipping out of my fingers. And it was the worst feeling in the world, because as humans, we all like to be in control, right? And I think, we want to control others, which of course never works, but we also want to be in control of our own lives, which can work. But I started to feel like I was completely out of control. So I was in a really dark place. I was, in certain areas of my life, I was still making the business work. I was making things happen. But in certain personal areas of my life, I was in a really dark place, and I was going through a lot of challenging things, challenging circumstances and emotions. And I felt really alone, and I felt like I was suffering in silence. And that's right around the time that I met you, and when everything started to change.
So speaking of things starting to change, how did things start to change when we started working together? What were the initial results that you started to see?
Yeah, everything, man. Everything changed when I started working with you. It's funny because, like I said, you had come to me for help in business. When I started to learn about what you did, I just thought I have to work with you. So I paid you, I joined your coaching program, and everything started to change for me. All of the modules that you taught, I was able to attend them, during in the live Q&A sessions and everything else that you teach. It was mind blowing. Like I'm gonna open up here, guys. I'm gonna be very honest. I was crying as an old man, like a grown old man. I was crying, right? Openly, I busted out in tears during some of the techniques and tools that you taught me and that you had us go through. It helped me release certain emotions. It helped me feel renewed. It helped me feel enriched again. It helped me feel like I didn't have to suffer. It helped me feel like I could manage my mind better. And I've been going through so many changes in my life in so many different areas. There's been amazing things happening as well, and business growth, and that's been, I've been working on becoming the next best version of myself. And so as I'm continuing to grow, there's layers of ourselves that we have to peel off so we can add on the new layers as well. That happened in my personal life and my professional life. And, working with you and in your coaching program and learning tools and techniques from you really helped me shed away those old layers and build new layers. I was able to basically get rid of all the old things and all the old behaviors and patterns that were holding me back. And I was able to take on new behaviors and new patterns. And I was literally able to become the man of my dreams. I started to become the man of my dreams. And, it's funny because a lot of times, in society, we're taught, women are taught to find the man of their dreams. Men are taught to find the woman of their dreams. But I think it's cool when you can try to become, like if you're a man, to try to become the man of your own dreams, you fall in love with yourself, you respect yourself, you know that you can handle anything. And for a woman watching, you become the woman of your dreams. And that's what I saw myself becoming. And so honestly, your tools, techniques, I think are life-changing. It's fascinating because I had been exposed to some of those things before. I'm being very honest here, but the way you deliver it, the way you execute, the way you get us to do things made me want to do it. So like even this morning, I did a technique that you've taught, and every single morning I do it. It's become a habit now. And it's the reason why I feel like refreshed and happy and I feel better. And it's like any circumstance could come into my life, but I feel like I'm always in control. And I think, me realizing that I had support was also really huge, because a lot of times, like I said, we feel like we have to go through our problems alone. Having a coach, hiring a coach, working with you made me feel like I'm not alone. And I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like what started to change was I'm not alone. I can share what's going on with me with other people. And I can tell a coach who can understand, who can empathize me, and someone who's not going to judge me, and someone who is not going to criticize me, but someone who's going to be there for me, someone who's going to love me and understand me and help guide me. And so I went from going from, suffering in silence, being lost and confused, not knowing what to do, to feeling like taking this big sigh of relief. Like I have someone and I have support and I have someone I can go to and I can ask questions and I can get help from them. And okay, so like this happened, what should I do? And you have access in your program where we get to ask you questions. And what's really cool is that everyone in your program has different issues and problems they're dealing with, but you're able to personalize your help for them. And it's really cool because we can learn from each other. I've learned a lot from all the people in your program, but I've been able to learn, a lot from the help that you've given me personally in the program as well. And so, it was one of those things where I feel like I set myself up in a position where this was the year, this was the time in my life when things were going to change. I didn't know they would change that drastically. And I had no idea that you were going to be the source of that change. I could have never a year ago said that I would meet you and work with you, join your program, and that you would be one of the biggest catalysts of my change. But I would honestly say that if there's someone who's helped me change my life the most this year, it's definitely you. And that's saying a lot. So super grateful to you, man, because without a doubt, it's been the best investment I made this year, without a doubt.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Dr. Wasi, now that you're in the program, we've been working together, you've had some major mind-blowing successes. How is your life different now?
Oh, totally different. And one of the things I want to say as a coach, like I coach you, you coach me and stuff on different topics, right? As a coach, I pride myself in being a really good coach. But one thing I want to say, whether you're not a coach, whether you're someone who's watching this who just wants to improve their life, or whether you are someone who tries to improve themselves, it's important for you to have another coach. It's important for you to have coaches in your life, okay? Because a jar can't read its own label, right? And so you need that awareness. You need someone to look at you from the outside and tell you what's going on, because sometimes we're in our problems so much. And that's the biggest thing that's changed for me, was that as a coach, I started to learn from a lot of people, but I started to think, okay, well, I know it all. I don't need help from anybody else. I can handle this on my own. That's the biggest mistake we can make. And I think what's changed for me the most now is getting that awareness from my coach, getting that, a jar can't read its own label, like figuring out what are the blind spots that I can't see, and how can you help me see them more? That's helped me to fill in those gaps. It's helped me fill in those missing pieces, because I feel like as my coach, you were able to see things in me that I couldn't even see myself. And so getting that knowledge, getting that clarity from you has really helped me. Like, it changed the way I live my life every single day. It changed my habits. It changed my perspective. And perspective is one thing I want to talk about. I think that is the word of the year, probably. Like, if there's one word I would, like, many words I would attach to you that have helped me, but perspective is one of them, because what you teach in your program is that it's all about our perspective. And, I had learned these things before, right? I practiced them daily, but learning it from you was different. Learning it from you, it was just so practical, and it stuck with me. And so now I just have this totally different perspective on life. I have a different perspective on problems that come up. I used to think, okay, well, certain problems are okay in life. Everyone deals with them. And I'm good with that. I'm good with managing my mind around that. But these problems, no. Like, we have a right, to feel bad about it. We have a right to, go to negative places. But you taught me that it's all about perspective, whether it's this problem or that problem. I can coach someone else and help someone else on all sorts of various things. When it comes to my own life, I'll say, no, but this thing you don't understand. This thing, I deserve to feel bad about it. I deserve, for this circumstance to break me apart. And what you taught me was that, no, it's still perspective. It's all about perspective. And so when you can change the way you see something, you change your life. And so now, I look around at my life and I'm like, genuinely, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be who I am, to become more of the man of my dreams, to create this life. And, you've really taught me that again, reminded me and taught me that regardless of what we're going through in our life, regardless of what we're facing now or in our past, it has nothing to do with who we want to become. It has nothing to do with, holding us back, or, our past doesn't have to equal our future. A current challenging circumstance doesn't have to be something that makes you a worse person or that debilitates you. In fact, it can actually make you stronger. And I think one of the other really cool things that working with you has done for me is it's allowed me to take trials that I was having, challenges that I thought I had. Sometimes we perceive them as bad. You were able to help me see them as good things, right? You were able to help me see, like, if I came to you as your client and I said, yeah, but, this is what I'm thinking about myself now because of this circumstance, you would help me flip, again, my perspective. You would help me see, no, but what if you can think about yourself this way, right? What if it actually means this thing about you? What if it means this great, amazing thing about you? And that honestly has been life-changing, because I've been doing everything you teach me, everything you tell me, I think about it constantly every single day. And so then I start to see those changes manifest in my life, Again, the tools and techniques you've given me have also helped so much. I think habits is a big thing. When we can change our daily habits, that's when we start to see changes in our life. All of us want to feel better. And the secret to feeling better is to changing your habits. It's to changing what you do day in and day out, changing the way you think. And that's one thing that your program helped me do. Another thing I really want to talk about, mention here, is that a lot of people think that it could take a lot of time to go from feeling really bad about something to feeling really good, but it doesn't. I think one of the things about Yaya that's really incredible, and this is also one of the reasons I wanted to work with you, because just after a few conversations, even watching your free content and stuff, I felt really transformed like that. It was like within a matter of seconds, minutes, certain things you would say and teach would just make sense. And so one of the cool things about your program is that literally, and not just me, everyone will agree, you will start to feel that transformation and a change in your state and how you feel as a man, who you are, within a few days, within a few weeks, So it doesn't have to take months or years like some people think. The transformation can literally happen today. And so, for me now, I just feel like getting the tools from you has been exactly what I needed to continue going forward, because I'm always about improving and becoming the best man I can be. And so now with the tools, I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel like I have these tools, techniques I can go to anytime. I have access to your coaching program anytime. I can take what I need. I can listen to things. You have so many amazing resources in there. It's like a treasure chest. It's like the Netflix of everything you need to help you feel better and to help you do better and to help you show up and create the results you want, become the man or woman you want to be. And I feel so privileged to be able to have access to that and to be able to go inside and take whatever I need whenever I'm feeling a certain way. And so I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see, how life continues to unfold now.
So, so you have a pretty happening life, and you have challenges in your life every single day. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. So, based on going back to when you originally started working with me, and we talked about patterns and we talked about habits and how we keep repetitively falling in the same patterns of thinking, feeling, being, and how difficult it is for people to evolve because they're like, no, 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 you don't understand this one thing. I have to feel bad about it. So, compared to then, how easy is it for you now to let go?
Like that's like once literally it's like boom, done. I remember you doing that in your coaching program when we would ask questions and stuff, and you would just say things and you'd be like, it's done, son, and so literally it's like that. I think that's actually such a great question because honestly, I'm able to do it so quickly now. Like literally, I've been training, I've been working a lot, like I said, as a coach on, changing thoughts, emotions, and I help people with it all the time. But getting your perspective, hearing it from you, it helped me speed up the process. It helped me realize that it doesn't have to take days or weeks, like it's just done, right? And so it's literally about you teach us how to switch from certain negative thoughts to a positive one, right? You teach us what to do. And there's certain phrases you've taught me that I think will stick with me the rest of my life. Some of them is just, some of them that really stand out for me that have had a really big effect on me is just do it, right? Get it done. Stop overthinking. So many powerful ones that have changed the way I show up in my life. Like never say or do anything you'll regret, right? That's been a huge and powerful one. Like really taking our power and control back, realizing that we don't ever have to say or do anything because we're reacting to a circumstance, right? We're always in control. And I think that, that's one of the biggest changes is like now when I get triggered by something, because we all do, like we're all human guys, like this is a human experience. We're all going to get triggered by things, right? None of us are perfect. But I think having the tools that Yaya teaches is incredible because you always feel like you're in control. So regardless of what's going on outside of your life, whether it's your business, career, people, relationships, health, whatever it is, whatever issues there are, you feel like you're in control. And so now, instead of allowing something to trigger me and allowing myself to just react in a very negative way that can be detrimental for me or others or other things, it's now I feel like, okay, in that moment, I'm quickly able to just stay in control. I'm quickly able to just stay calm. I'm quickly able to decide, okay, how do I want to react to the situation? How do I want to respond? And I think that has given me my power back as a man, like learning from you that it can literally be a second. It can be instant when you can make a decision in that moment. This is how I'm going to choose to be. This is how I'm going to choose to show up. Everyone else around you can be freaking out, can have anxiety, can be panicking and stress. But if you can learn to be the person who's grounded, who's stable, and who has the ability in any situation to calm themselves, I think that's the best gift you can give yourself. And so that's something I think is really unique about the way you teach things because it's speed. And I think everyone wants speed, like the best investment, the best thing you can pay for is speed, guys. If someone can help you learn something faster, if someone can help you create a result in your life faster than you doing it on your own, you give them all your money, like you throw it at them because that's the best thing you can do. Like everyone pays for speed. And why would you try to do something on your own if you could get help from someone who could help you do it 10, 100 times faster? I would say speed, being able to, have instant change have been some of the things that are helping me the most now that are embedded in me thanks to working with you. So I'm really excited. And again, like I keep saying, I'm grateful, but I truly am really grateful.
Absolutely. I believe in speed as well. That's the power of coaching. That's why I've always invested in coaches because I just don't want to spend the time. I don't want to spend the time, the steep learning curve, Because if we can speed up the results, we can move much faster. That brings me to another very interesting question. Now, having seen what you've seen and having done what you've done and faced what you've faced and evolved the way you have, what would you tell someone else who is going, because the whole world has gone through very challenging circumstances, especially this year. So what would you tell somebody who's right now going through a very challenging circumstance, feeling negative, feeling stressed out of their mind, feeling like things will never get better again? What would your advice be?
Yeah, I would tell them to hire you. Just stop whatever you're doing, guys. Hire you. Go into his coaching program, work with him, because that's really all you need. I think that's the best start for everyone. But in all seriousness, I truly mean that. But I do believe that you should seek the help that you need, because one of the things, like I just said, is us trying to do it by ourselves. I repeat, do not try to do things on your own. Why would you try to do something on your own if you know that there's someone else out there who could help you do it better by working with them, right? We just talked about speed. We just talked about how, paying for speed is the best investment you can make. I think that, most people think that it's normal. And, in society, we've kind of been conditioned to not talk about problems. We've been conditioned to say, especially as a man, for me, like, if you talk about having problems or you talk about being challenged by a circumstance, it makes you weak. It's the exact opposite, like I said, right? It actually makes you stronger, in my opinion, because you are brave enough, strong enough to admit that you need help with something, right? Whether you're a man or a woman. And so I would say the best thing that you can do is to, of course, I'm biased, but I would say to work with Yaya, join his program, right? Get the help that you need, because honestly, and I can tell you guys this, as a businessman entrepreneur, his prices are going to be going up soon, right? And so he's going to be more in demand as well. And so, join him, work with him now while he's still a little bit more accessible to you, because I promise he's just going to get bigger and bigger and be more in demand. So, get the help you need. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until next month, because you really don't. It's hard to understand the value of time, right? Time is our biggest asset. If you're going another day, another hour, trying to figure things out on your own, suffering silently, you're doing yourself a disservice. You owe it to yourself to get the help you need now, right? And I think that mental health is the biggest investment we can make. As a coach, I'm a champion of mental health. I always have been, right? I coach people on mindset as well. And I think mental health is the best investment you can make, because it'll determine the rest of the area of your life. Some of you may think, okay, well, my money or my relationship or my career, my business, my health, I need to fix that first, then get the mindset help. No, like everything stems from your mind, from your thoughts, from your feelings. If you're not working on your mental health, if you're not hiring the right people to help you improve your mental health, all the areas of your life are going to continue to suffer. You may improve one area of your life, but then something else is going to suffer. And you're going to be in this constant yo-yo of trying to juggle all these things, fix one thing and then put out another fire, fix one thing, put out another fire. Like Yaya said, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, there's so many different things that come up day to day for me, but I'm able to, with the tools that I've learned from him, I'm able to have stability in my life. So regardless of what's coming at me, I'm able to first breathe. So one of the things that I've learned from him, I'm going to say this as well, is just the importance of breathing. He just has so many amazing tools and techniques that I think are worth millions of dollars, because it changes your life. It changes the way you show up. It changes the results, not only in your personal life, but in your career, business life as well. And so don't wait another second. If you're even thinking about getting the help that you've been wanting to get, if it's been tugging at you, and you guys know what I mean, something kind of just tugs at you where you should get the help you need, invest now, invest today, and make sure that you're giving it to yourself as a gift. You're going to give yourself the gift of improving your mental health, your emotional state, because that's where everything else is going to come from in your life. And if you start on it now, imagine where you're going to be a month from now. Imagine where you're going to be a year from now. Imagine where you're going to be 3 years from now, right? But you have to start today.
Brilliantly said. Thank you for that. Now, I have a question for you. What's one thing that you've learned from me that I didn't directly teach you, and perhaps you learned it by observing me, that's helped you a lot? And you can answer honestly.
Yeah, to be honest, there's so many things. I think one of the biggest things I've learned from you, just as a human being, there's the coach, yeah, right, there's you, but then there's also you as the person. And of course, they're both the same. But I think one of the things I've learned from observing you, the way you show up with people, your clients, everyone, and I've said this before, was literally, you're a man of your word. Like, I've learned that, being a man of your word or being a woman of your word is a very, very rare thing to see these days. When you tell us that you're going to get something done, you get it done. When you tell us you're going to help us, you help us. When you tell us you're going to show up, you show up. And I think that, even the phrase I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things that I learned from you, to be honest, was, never regretting what you say or do, like never doing or saying anything that you'll regret. Right. And I think that goes hand in hand with being a man of your word. If you've made that commitment to yourself that I'm going to be the person who doesn't do or say anything that I regret, and then you can stick to that, that's everything. That's everything. I think that's the best relationship we can have with ourselves. And I see you embody that. I see you be that person, I mean, we've known each other for a while now, and you've been someone who doesn't say or do things that he regrets, and you're someone who sticks to his word. And so that's one thing that's helped me a lot in terms of, okay, if I say I'm going to do something or not do something, I need to stick to my word. And sometimes the person who I think about is you. That inspires me to be more like you in that way. And that's something that you didn't necessarily teach us in the coaching program, but I just learned about you from the way you show up. And anytime I'm tempted to not stick to my word, anytime my brain and our mind, because it's always going to find excuses to kind of like derail off the tracks, right? I always remind myself, sometimes I'm like, what would Yahya do in this situation, right? He would stick to his word. He would stick to his promises, his commitments to himself in the way that he'll react and respond to situations, but also commitments to other people and to getting things done, And I think as a businessman, entrepreneur, it's so important for me, but also in my personal life. So that's something that I've genuinely learned from just observing you, and it's been really cool.
That is very cool. I didn't know that. I'm very surprised, and thank you. That's very kind of you. So another thing, based on people suffering, is why do you think so many people continue to struggle and suffer emotionally, perhaps suffer in silence? Why do you think it happens again and again and continues to happen?
I think that some people, may have gone to a few, you usually go to a few people, a few loved ones, right? So maybe you'll go to someone with your problem and then they won't give you the answer that you want, or they'll tell you something that actually makes things worse. Even though our loved ones always have the best intentions, like they usually have the best intentions, they may say something that makes you feel like, oh, forget about it, move on. It's not that big of a problem. They'll undermine things that are going on with you. And so then you'll start to think that, okay, if I'm experiencing negative emotions or a challenging circumstance, I should be able to figure it out on my own, because other people around me are telling me it's not a big deal or I should get over it. And I think we fall into this trap of feeling shame and guilt around seeking help, like I said, and being able to share problems. So I think that's one of the things, going to your family and friends is a good thing. We all need human connection. We all need to connect with others, let them know what's going on with us. And sometimes they can really help. But most of the times, guys, when it comes to things that are really challenging in your life, it's good to step away from your usual family, friend circle and get help from an outsider, get help from a coach, because they're not biased, right? They have nothing to gain or lose from decisions you make in your life. Nothing at all. Right? Like, I know as a coach, Yaya's invested in me and what's best for me, right? He doesn't care about how a professional or personal decision in my life is going to affect him, because it has no effect on him, right? He's just there as my coach to help me succeed. He's there to help me get better. He's not there to judge me. He's not there to make me feel bad. He's there to push me when I need the pushing, right? He's there to give me the tough love when I need the tough love as a man, which I feel like we all need. We crave sometimes. We crave that direction sometimes from someone who loves us and cares about us, but isn't afraid to say the honest thing. They're not afraid to tell us the truth. And I think sometimes your family and friends are afraid to tell you the truth, right? Or sometimes they think they're telling you the truth, but maybe it's not the truth, right? It's like both extremes. Sometimes they'll tell you something that's really harsh, right? And you'll use it against yourself. And sometimes they'll sugarcoat things and add fluff, and then you never end up improving yourself. You keep making excuses for negative things that keep occurring in your life and the way you're feeling. And so I think that, most people just feel Like, okay, I've spoken to my best friend about it. I talked to my spouse about it. I talked to my mother about it. I'm done. No, I mean that's you haven't even scratched the surface of the work that you need to do. So I encourage everyone, find a coach, right? Find someone. Of course, I'm going to recommend Yaya, right? To work with, because they will see things the way your family and friends will not see things. I promise you, whether it's a business, career, relationship issue, a health issue, whatever problem it is, family and friends are always going to be biased. You know, you have to be able to take your questions and problems to someone who's unbiased, and that's going to be a coach. That is going to be someone who can help you see your blind spots, someone who can't, someone who's not invested in the wrong ways, right? And so I think that admitting, and what's really funny is I heard this the other day. I was watching a video the other day and they kind of mentioned this, and it has to do with your question. When you reach out for help, it doesn't mean that your life is terrible. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. When you reach out for help, it means that you're the type of person who values getting help. It means like you're the type of person who wants to continually improve their life, right? I see it as a very positive thing to seek out for help. And so some of us have shame around, I don't want to join a coaching program where they're going to teach me how to feel better, or they're going to teach me how to have a better emotional state. And it's like, what? Why not? Right? Like all of us should be in it. Like every country's government should pay for these programs and courses, because that's life. That's how we improve as human beings. And so, cut the shame out, cut the guilt out, cut all of that out and put yourself first. And yes, continue to use the help of loved ones, the people around you, but work with a coach who can be unbiased and who can tell you what you need to hear and help you in a way that no one else in the world will be able to help you.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So we've talked about a lot of cool stuff, and you've overcome. I'm very proud of you as my student. I'm very, very proud of all the challenges you've overcome. But we have a lot of cool stuff to do. We still have a lot of cool stuff to do. So speaking of targets, what is your personal goal for the next year, for 2021?
Yeah, I think one of the best things about this year for me personally was really just growing and living a life of freedom, right? Sometimes I think that all of us, we put certain limitations on ourselves. We kind of create shackles in our own brain and our own mind about how we should be living our life. And I think one thing that I've learned working with you is that we can break free from all those shackles, right? We can literally break away from that. So the thing that I'm excited about going forward is just living a life that's just filled with freedom, where, I can continue to become the man of my dreams, right? I can continue to live freely. I can continue to become stronger and better, and, continue to use the techniques, tools you've taught us, continue to do the daily practices to just become more and more of who I want to be. I think as men, especially, all of us constantly want to be stronger. And so for me, the strength, strength doesn't come from how you look. It doesn't come from your relationship. It doesn't come from the money you have. Strength is this. It comes from the inside. It comes from your mindset. And working with you is one of the things that reaffirmed that for me and embedded that in me and me even more. So if I want to continue to become a stronger man, it's always going to start with our emotional state, with our mind, and how we feel, and then what we do from there. So I'm really looking forward to, just like I said, living the life of my dreams, becoming more the man of my dreams, and living a life of true freedom, right? Where I'm giving myself options. I'm giving myself the freedom to create the life that I want. And I'm super excited to see where it goes and share the journey with you.
With that said, guys, that's Dr. Wasi. Thank you so much, Dr. Wasi. I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I hope you found some solid learnings. I'm going to link another interview right here to another rock star of an entrepreneur whose situation was similar to Dr. Wasi's. Hope you enjoy that. Leave a comment below and let me know what was the most important thing you found out in this video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.